Are you still using the webcam that's built into your laptop? While this is a great starter camera, you can improve it by using a simple external webcam. On this episode of the Launcher Live podcast and Amazon Live show, we're going to talk about what the best webcams are for live streaming. So I'm going to come on and say a quick hello. Hey, everyone. My name is Christian Karasiewicz. I'm the founder of the Launch Your Live show and podcast, and obviously this Amazon Live show. If you're watching this live, I am joined by Marco Novo. We've been doing these obviously every single week. And this week, we're going to be talking about webcams, ways that you can improve your camera quality for your live streams. And we're going to talk about a number of webcams that are on the market. We're going to talk about ones from obviously your Logitechs, your Anchors. I think we might even have some gaming webcams in there as well. And that's because, well, when you're live streaming, yes, picture quality is important, but it doesn't mean you need to go and buy the most expensive camera that's on the market, because you could buy the most expensive camera and yeah, your quality may not be very good in terms of like the content. And so the problem there is that if your content is not very good, yep, that's going to be a bit, that's going to be problematic there. So if your quality of your content's not very good, doesn't matter if you spent, $100 on that webcam or $5,000 on that webcam, you got to focus on the content. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the best webcams on the market and obviously some things to, kind of walk you through getting started on your live streaming journey. So Marco, thanks a lot for joining for episode 81 of the Launcher Live podcast and Amazon Live show.
Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure. And it's a really interesting topic, this one for today, because yes, as you mentioned, having a good image is really good. Looking good in camera, it's really good, but you don't look good on camera or whatever if the content you're sharing is not good. So this is the most important investment you have to do. It's the quality of the content.
Exactly. So it's all about focusing on the quality of the content. Remember, like everybody starts somewhere on their live streaming journey. Some people, they start with some people just use their webcams. And here's the thing, if the content's good and the audio quality is good, people will tune in. And then you can always level up your live streams. And that means, upgrading your audio, for example, and then moving into getting a good quality camera, because you will start to notice the difference in how good the picture quality is. And, the other thing that also I think is important there is when we start talking about cameras, if you're starting out, you've got no audience, for example, you've got a very small audience tuning in. Why would you want to put all that money into having the best picture, right? So you kind of want to show also the evolution of how you grow as you're using more streaming in your business. So Marco, I know today we wanted to talk about webcams, and so I'm going to turn it over to you. We're going to talk about some webcams I'm going to bring up in the carousel. And so where should I start? If I'm looking at webcams, what's the average price of a webcam?
Well, I spent. let me share my experience.
Sure.
When I started, I spent around. It was maybe $60-$70 with the C920 from Logitech. It's still a standard, and I think for me it's a really good starting point. Why? Very good image quality. Okay, Logitech has software which allows you to control the web camera, because this is something that it's not so good point on normal webcams. You don't have much control over them in a native way, like for instance using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. So having a software to support the customization of the image is really good. And also there's something that for me it's really important about the C920 webcam. It's that after, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years, it's still working. So
yes,
I think this is something important about a webcam, to be reliable and to last long.
So Marco, do me a favor. Can you pull up the Logitech C920 so we can show people what these are going to look like? For example, like if they're looking at webcams, because here's the thing: if you go on Amazon, you are going to see Logitech C920s, but you're also going to see a lot of copycats of cameras that look like C920s because they want to sell their, their lower quality, their inferior model. So this is the C920. And as Marco mentioned, I mean, so this is it's about a $60 to $70 webcam. It's not new. It's been around for quite a while and it still produces really good quality. I do have to say this. If you're going to go with any of the webcams, the one thing you have to do with the webcam is you have to get adequate lighting. So, for example, if you're using the Logitech C920, for example, and you don't have good lighting, it's not going to look great. So you do have to keep that in mind. But this is the Logitech C920. And again, you don't have to have a super expensive webcam. This is actually the webcam that most people will actually use. They'll use the Logitech C920, because again, it's a workhorse. It does a really good job at displaying the picture for your live streams. So absolutely. I like the Logitech C920. Again, I tested one out and I will say this, like when I first started using one of these, I didn't have enough light. And I looked at it and I said, oh, well, the quality doesn't look that much different than my webcam on my computer. And however, when I added the right light, it does enhance this webcam and really helps it shine. So you want to make sure with any of these webcams that you get the right kind of light. So that is the Logitech C920, by the way. Again, you should be able to find these. And the other thing also I want to mention about this, and this is, I think, super important as well. The Logitech C920, one thing to remember about this, and this is true of all of the Logitech webcams, you get software with it. So you get software that is actually going to help enhance that webcam even more. So it's going to let you adjust like the white balance and the contrast. In some cases, it'll let you blur out the background, for example, if you want to as well. So that's going to be our first webcam that we're going to recommend. It's the Logitech C920. By the way, for those of you who are listening to the podcast episode, if you do want to follow along, all you have to do is go to launchyour.live/EP81. That's going to get you over to our Amazon Live show where you're going to be able to actually look at everything that's in the carousel here for this particular webcam. Okay, Marco. So that's webcam number one. What other webcams do I need to be looking at, on the market? So we got about $60 entry. Great find. What's next?
Well, I found that there's this C930.
Okay, C930. Okay.
Up
yeah.
10 points. And it's on a good deal. I think the webcams, and this is something important as well, because, for instance, if you asked me 1 year ago which webcam I recommend, I was recommending your cell phone, okay, because the price of the webcams went too high due to the demand supply thing, and people were buying webcams and the prices went up. But now I think they are coming down again, and this camera is on a deal, 89.50. Okay.
Yeah. So let me pull this one
You will
up.
save $40.
Yeah. So this is the Logitech C930. And I think the only difference that I know of, by the way, if you look at the title list, it says 2013. So I think the only real difference between this one and the 920, I actually think it's the angle of the camera.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to actually double check that. I think it's like super minimal, like in terms of what the quality is. Okay. So the C920 actually offers 60 frames a second, and the webcam actually performs better in comparison to the C930 with a frame rate of 30 frames a second. So yeah, so you really, I think the frames per second is part of it, but so this is the C930. So great webcam again on the market. I think personally, Marco, if I were getting a webcam and I had to kind of debate between these, I'd get the C920 over the 930. Saves me a little bit of money. I think that I could repurpose back into my business. So absolutely. That's the Logitech C930. Love that find. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next one here in a second. So that's the C930. So if you're looking for another webcam that might have, that does the frame rate's a little bit different, check out the C930, but really you cannot go wrong with that C920. So,
Absolutely.
okay, so Logitech C920, Logitech C930. As you all are probably going to notice a trend here, we're going to probably talk a lot about Logitech, and that's because Logitech makes some really good webcams.
and also, for instance, on my desk I have the keyboard from Logitech, the mouse, and also the speakers.
Yes, Logitech makes I've actually got a Logitech mouse and keyboard as well, and that's partly because I like the feel, I like the durability of them. So yeah, so
Yeah,
lots of stuff to consider there. Okay, so what's another webcam that I need to be considering, Marco, when live streaming?
okay, let me see. I was thinking about the Brio so, to keep the conversation on the Logitech world. So
Okay, so the
this, I think,
Logitech Brio. Actually, let's talk about the Logitech Brio. So I actually have a Logitech Brio. I'm not using it right now. However, what I want to highlight about this webcam is it is a really, really, really good webcam. So this one is about $150, $160. What separates this one from the other one, so they're both HD, but what this one does is it offers up to 4K quality. It also has built-in stereo audio with dual mics. It also has the ability to adjust the camera angle. So, for example, what I mean by that is, it allows you to zoom in, like, so it basically can take a super wide shot or ultra wide, a wide shot, and then just a regular shot. And so the things that I really like about this webcam, really, it's just the fact that it's a really good webcam all around. It's also performs very well in low light situations. And then another thing that I also like about this one, and the other ones have this as well, but you can detach it. So just because it's a webcam doesn't mean it sits in front of your computer. You can actually
yeah,
attach this to a tripod if you want to as
yes,
well. So
indeed, yes,
one thing I think that is super important to mention, Marco, about the Logitech Brio, for example, when we're talking 4K, we're talking that really high quality. One thing that people need to realize is that just because you can go up to 4K, it doesn't mean that your platforms that you're streaming to can support 4K. Most do not stream in 4K. 1080p is not everywhere either. So you're going to have some that are going to do
yes,
1080p. You're going to have most that are going to do 720.
absolutely,
So that is something you want to consider if you're going to be using the Logitech Brio. So
absolutely,
again, this is a good product. Don't get me wrong, but here's the thing: it's twice the price of, and then some actually, of the C920, which is still a good camera if you're getting into webcams. So can we get one more shot of that, Marco? What does that one look like on the screen? Just everybody go over to the webcam actually. Yeah, let's so that's the C920. And by the way, this also, you can detach that base from it if you want
yes,
to, and you can put it on a tripod. So that's the C920. Fantastic webcam.
yes,
But again, you don't need the C920 if your budget's, if you want just a good starter webcam, get the
yes,
C920.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, yes.
Okay. So we've talked a couple, we got Logitech, lots and lots and lots of Logitechs, right? So the other webcam I want us to talk about, Marco, is the Stream Cam. Have you checked this one out from Logitech as well?
I've seen it. I've seen it, and I think one of the
So what's its major selling point, by the way?
well, I think there's two things about this
Okay.
webcam. One is that I think it's the USB-C connection. Okay, so uh, some brands of computers are dropping the USB-A. USB-C, it's becoming the new standard. So this camera, it's a USB-C connection, but also it has this feature which is kind of funny and could be a nice thing for you, because you can use it as a horizontal way or a vertical way. You can unclip it and turn it 90 degrees around and clip it again in the vertical way. Okay, so this is something that I think there's no, you can do this using a software but not a camera as far as I know, and with this camera you can do that. So this could be a nice option, mostly if you want to record to TikTok or Instagram
Yeah.
stories, or
Yeah.
this could be a nice option for you.
So I'm going to go and bring this one up. So this is the Logitech Stream Cam. And as Marco mentioned, this is by the way, just kind of going back off the other other webcams. So the Logitech C920 and the C930, they connect using a USB-A cable. The Logitech Brio has a USB-C connection to either USB-C or USB-C to USB-A. So we can go both ways. And then the same thing for this Logitech Stream Cam, it's USB-C, but it can also go to USB-A as well. So those are, more of your newer models of webcams. Now, what's unique about this one, though, as Marco mentioned, like it does have the ability to be put on a tripod, but it also flips. As you can see, you can go in horizontal or landscape mode for the Logitech Stream Cam, and that's going to allow you to do a couple of things. So most of your online streaming platforms, for example, if you're using StreamYard or a number of the other ones, so we're using StreamYard for this, the way they work is they shoot in horizontal mode, in landscape mode. And so if you wanted to shoot something for Instagram or TikTok, as Marco mentioned, or even just wanted to record a video, you would be able to flip this camera vertically and it would actually shoot properly. You can't take the other ones that we talked about. You can't take them and just flip a horizontal webcam to a vertical one. It actually won't recognize. It won't record properly because it kind of has like an orientation thing in it. So it knows like a gyroscope. So that is the Logitech Stream Cam. And in terms of price, what's the price of this, Marco?
It's 153.
153, yeah. And so I think, let me see. So that's 150 something. And then for me, it's about $178. So it's a little more expensive, but it's a good option because you do get the landscape and the portrait shooting modes for this particular one. So absolutely, I'd recommend checking out the Logitech Stream Cam. Okay.
Just let me do something. Let me say something because, as you know, sure, as well, there's this thing because people are seeking all the time for apps or software or web-based platforms like StreamYard, for instance, to make live shows through Instagram. Don't do that, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Just do lives on Instagram from your app in the phone. Otherwise, you may be blocked or shut down on Instagram because it's not allowed it.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. Yeah. So remember, this is a camera, so it can help you shoot, but you got to still pay attention to what the terms of services are for the various platforms. So you can do it to record videos and then put them up on, you can do it as a way to record a vertical video. So that's a really good option. Okay. So we're talking about webcams for streaming. And as you can see, like one thing you're going to notice, most of these webcams, they're almost the same. So when you're talking about the whole Logitech family, they're virtually the same. It really depends on what your budget is and what the application is. Honestly, I don't necessarily need one that shoots vertical because I don't post a lot of vertical videos. However, I shoot a lot more horizontal. It is nice to have that option, but it comes at a cost. Because if you think about it, I could buy 3 Logitech C920s practically for the price of 1 Logitech Stream Cam, just because it gives me vertical and horizontal. So just think about that when you're looking for a webcam for live streaming. Okay.
Absolutely.
Marco, how many other webcams do you want to talk about here? Or are there other ones you want to talk about?
I would love, because it's here and I was about to, and I think it's a really nice webcam. It does a different,
sure.
It has different features. This OBSBot.
Okay.
OBSBot Tiny PTZ.
Yeah. What's a PTZ? What does PTZ mean?
Oh, well, it's pen. The T I forgot, and zoom.
I'll just get it actually. So it's a PTZ camera. Okay. So basically it's somewhat AI based. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
So they're often AI based. And then let's see, what does PTZ mean? I actually am not. So
I think it's pan, tilt, and zoom.
I actually think you're right, actually. Let's see. So PTZ, yeah, pan, tilt, zoom. That's actually pretty cool. And it sounds like this fancy acronym, actually, but really it just means pan, tilt, zoom, functions of a camera. So pretty cool, actually. But the thing is, this one's actually going to do most of that automatically for you. So this is the OBSBot Tiny PTZ webcam. you are going to notice this is going to be a little more expensive. It's $200. But it
Yes.
does have, it's got omnidirectional mics built in. Personally, on any of these webcams, I would not use the built-in mics on any of them. I would always
Absolutely.
recommend trying to run your audio separately, preferably through an audio interface or a mixer. We've got some of those in the carousel, by the way, to check out. This one, though, works great in low light situations and also works with a number of your favorite online meeting platforms as well. So depending on what you're using for that. Okay, so this is $200. Is there a coupon there, Marco, or no?
Yes,
Got a 5%
it seems
coupon,
that you
right?
can save 5%.
I wonder if that's like a like auto ship, like order one and get a new one in like 6 months or something. So that's the OBSBot Tiny PTZ webcam. Yeah. And so how does this connect, by the way, Marco? Is there an option there to see what it connects with?
I
So
think
first off,
it's
look at how
here.
small that is. That's like super small.
Yeah.
It's got
It's really
90-degree
small.
field of view, which is really awesome. Okay. You can
And
actually put it.
also,
Yeah, go ahead.
you have these commands. Okay, you make this, and this
Nice.
is good. For instance, if you're making a training,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in site, but also broadcasting, going live, which could be a nice option. This hybrid approach,
Yeah.
and with these two commands, you can say the camera to follow you and also to zoom in, zoom out. Okay, so this could be a nice option. If, for instance, you can't afford to pay a professional to record your
Yeah.
trainings and broadcast them, this could be a nice option. Let me see if I can find how does this connects. But
I gotta say, I like how small that is. I mean, it's like super small. Super small. I think the other thing I also really like about this particular webcam is just like the fact that
USB
like
Type C.
so it's Type C. Yeah, fantastic. And then the other thing is I think I really like about this. I like those commands. I think those commands are a pretty good idea. So very, very, very cool. Okay, so that is the OBSBot like PTZ camera. PTZ stands for point, tilt, or sorry, pan,
Zoom.
tilt, zoom. Sorry, I was getting that wrong there.
Yes.
So great little webcam. Can you do me a favor? Let's look at some of the other images for this product from Amazon. So okay, so it can sit on top of the laptop. You can control it using your hand gestures. Really neat. Super small. It's got some really good. It works well in low light situations. Great. Connects via USB-C. Fantastic. What else? Is there anything else there? Let's see.
Well, I think this image can tell us how small it is.
Yeah, it's like super. I can't believe how small that is. I mean, that's just unbelievable how small that is. So very good. Very, very, very good webcam. Okay, so we got that one right. So that is the OBSBot PTZ camera. Awesome little camera, by the way. So $200. And that's another thing to remember. So that camera for $200, the reason it's more expensive, very likely is because it's got that AI piece in it. It's also because it's, you're not just paying for the name on that one. You're actually getting a very good camera for the price. So just keep that in mind. But you don't have to buy that particular camera. So, there's lots of options, but for that price, that's a good price. So for what you're getting, I mean, amazing. Okay, Marco, what are some other webcams you like to look at? I mean, can we look at some gaming ones maybe?
Yes, we have these Razer webcams.
So which Razer? So Razer, are they a scooter company or what? Like, it's a gaming company, right?
Yes,
I know. There's a gaming company. I think there's a computer company. Okay, so there's that. What model do they make? Because I know of a few different Razer webcams.
Okay, they have these two models in the carousel, but I think we can talk a little bit about this with the Light Ring. Even though I recommend that you buy a real light ring or soft boxes or LED panels. I think if you don't have a big budget, this could be a nice workaround.
Yeah. So what's this camera? Which one is this? What's the price on this one? Okay, what's the price?
It's
Razer Kio. Okay, great.
$82.
$82. Okay. It's an $82 webcam. Okay, great. Does 1080p, does 720. It looks like it comes with a full suite of software to be able to control the webcam. Fantastic. What other options are there? So there's an option, I think, with and without ring light, right?
I think without the light ring, it's another model.
Okay. So a couple things to keep in mind with this. I mean, so for starters, it's super small.
Yeah.
It can be detached and you can put it on a tripod. So you can use this not just as a camera in front of your computer, but for example, if you happen to have multiple webcams, you could use one of these as a second camera. In addition to that, as you mentioned, it has that ring light feature. The ring light feature, I think, is actually super important because, as I mentioned at the beginning, when you buy one of these webcams, the lighting is key. So this actually has a ring light that goes basically around the camera itself. So that way the camera is taking in enough light to help improve the picture quality right off the bat, as opposed to, oh, I have to go buy a separate light source. So that's the Razer Kiyo streaming webcam. And
also,
yeah,
it has this software which allows you to have a little bit more control over the image. And talking about this light ring, this could be an interesting option. For instance, if you travel often, okay, and you never know when you will find the right lights in the hotel or in the room you want to broadcast. Okay, so this is kind of a backup, okay, a guarantee that you will have at least an decent light to go live.
Excellent point. Yeah, and just one thing I want to really just mention very quickly about, well, we'll mention this in a second, but like all of these webcams, you got to remember this. If you're going to be trying to do anything fancy with these webcams, let's say you're like, hey, you know what? I want to put a green screen behind me. For example, webcams are going to need lots and lots and lots of light to make that look good. So, just remember, you can always get a green screen, put it behind you, and still use your webcam, and it can cut out the background, basically key it out, chroma key it out. So that is a very good option. But again, this one's what, $82, right, Marco?
Yes.
Yeah, so $82, good option for a webcam. Again, $82. That's also in the US. Fantastic, Marco. Okay, so that's the Razer Kiyo. Now, in addition to this one, Razer also makes, they make some other webcams. They do make the Razer Kiyo Pro, which is a $200 webcam. Let's talk about this one real quick, Marco. Okay. So I'm going to have Marco bring up the Razer Kiyo Pro, which is another webcam as well. So there's the Razer Kiyo and the Razer Kiyo Pro. And okay, so for $82, I can get the Razer Kiyo. For $200, I get the Kiyo Pro. So let's talk about this Kiyo Pro. So this is the Kiyo Pro. And I think like right off the bat, the thing that really stands out to me is that lens. It's got a wide angle autofocus lens built into it. Looks like it can do a very nice background blur with this webcam. I mean, that is a very nice webcam, by the way. It looks fantastic. It's got HDR enabled. It's got a wide angle lens. It's got adjustable field of view. It's fast. It uses USB 3.0, and it's got adaptive light sensors. Now, one thing you're going to notice, this model, for example, they also sell one with the ring light. Can you click on the ring light one, Marco?
There you go.
So when we talk about having it with a ring light, it literally is just a ring light with the Kiyo Pro as well. So it's a bundled deal as opposed to buying a webcam that has a light that kind of works with it, because it looks like just a regular ring light. So, you really have some options there. I mean, if you need the ring light, you need the tripod, consider getting the bundle. But personally, I mean, I think that the couple of things I really like about this kind of webcam, I like the quality, gotta say. If you're just going to be streaming casually, don't spend a lot of money on webcam. But if you're somebody who's on meetings a lot, this is where you want to make that investment. So, you start to look the best you can to your clients that you're working with. So
Absolutely.
lodge the Razer Kiyo Pro streaming webcam for $200. Awesome, Marco. Okay.
Yes.
So let's do this. Let's talk about one more webcam, and then I just want to talk about a couple of accessories real quick. Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's look at the let's pull up the Anker PowerConf C. I think it's 300. Sounds like a low-level quality webcam, but it's by Anker. And Anker makes some pretty good stuff like cables and batteries, and
Yes.
they make this webcam. So this is the Anker PowerConf 300. It does 1080p, 60 frames a second.
Yes.
And it's by Anker. And I think it's USB-C capable. Yep. So it's USB-C capable. It's got noise canceling microphones built in, low light correction, 60 frames a second, Zoom certified. Zoom certified means it's certified to use with Zoom, by the way. If you're using that for your meeting platform, doesn't mean that it's certified to be able to zoom in. So just keep that in mind. It does have some various field of views. You got 78 degrees, 90 degrees, and 115. Typically, that's going to be controlled by software. It's got AI powered autofocus, meaning, as you're moving, if you're somebody who needs to show a lot of stuff, a lot of products to your viewers and your customers, you want to have a camera that is very quick on the focus. So it's able to quickly switch between you and the item you're showing, you and the item you're showing, or the background and you. So very good option here is the Anker PowerConf 300. And how much is this one, Marco?
It's 130.
130. Yeah. And there's a coupon though, right?
Yes. $20. Okay.
$20. So, hold on, 20 off. So it's only like $100.
110.
Yeah. So very, very good option. Yes. I like that, Marco. Really like that.
Absolutely.
It's a good, yeah.
About this focus, it's important because, for instance, I was using a really cheap camera to show my desk when I was doing reviews and unboxings, and it was always a struggle because I needed to focus on the lens. So this was a kind of awkward situation, and so this is why I changed my camera to my desk camera to the Logitech C920, because focusing, it's really fast, and it looks better, because if you need to spend 3 seconds focusing the image, your audience will be kind of bored.
Yeah. And so this is the Logitech, I keep saying Logitech because, as you can see, it's like saying Kleenex versus
absolutely.
Logitech. In this case, this is the Anker PowerConf C300. It's $129. So it's slightly more than that Logitech C920. This is a newer model, by the way. So it's going to have newer connections, got faster technology. It doesn't necessarily have as many bells and whistles in terms of software to control things, but it does have that AI powered autofocus feature that's built in. So I really like that one a lot, actually, from a webcam standpoint. So let's pull up one more shot of the Anker PowerConf C300. Great camera for $129. Okay, Marco.
Absolutely.
So what I want to do real quick is let's talk about a couple of, and you and I both know, like, there are a lot of accessories on the market that people think that they can use their webcams with.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on a couple of accessories you should consider getting for your webcam. So for starters, if you're obviously going to be somebody who, if you want to be keying out the background behind you, you can buy a green screen, and these webcams can do some keying. We're not going to bring this one up, but like, you can buy a webcam, and then if you want to like key out the background, you put up a green screen, but you are going to need, for that green screen, a lot of light so that it separates you from the background, and it makes it easy for the camera to recognize how that's going to work. So for example, this is a 5x7 chroma key, blue and green collapsible backdrop. So this is great thing about this green screen, by the way. And this is if you want to actually do any chroma keying out. Basically what you do is you put this thing up behind you, and then you can fold it up and put it away if you want to. It's different than most of the other green screens you see on the market, because most of them are just a big green cloth, but you got to get them flat. You got to stretch them out, and they're usually too big. So this one is about $80. It's well worth it if you're somebody who needs to be able to remove the background from people, or you want to put yourself in different situations. Now, personally, not necessarily a fan of these. Again, just the aspect of using green screens A lot of people, you could just go for a physical set behind you and have usable space as opposed to, getting a green screen, trying to get the lighting right and trying to key it out properly. Because if you don't have all that stuff, it's actually not going to look very good. But that is the newer 5x7 chroma key. If you're somebody who needs to key out the background, this does have a coupon on it, by the way, too. So just keep that in mind. So it's $80 with a coupon. So it's about $7, I think. Yeah. Okay. So a couple other accessories you want to look at for green screens. Let's pull up that chair, Marco. You and I always love this item, I think.
Yes.
So again, this is a very quick one, but if you're somebody who wants to remove the background behind you and you don't want to have that other green screen, or you don't want to have that really big green screen, you can always just get this. This literally just goes on the top of your office chair. It's about $28. And yeah, basically it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It goes behind you. You just then put your camera, close enough. For example, maybe zoom in on it, things like that. And then the great thing about it is it can key out the background very easily. And it also removes your chair because, well, a lot of times what people do is they're sitting in the chair like I am right now, for example. Like Marco and I were sitting in chairs, and you can see that I'm sitting in a chair. Marco, you're sitting in a red chair. So,
Yes.
Basically this goes over the back and it basically puts that green screen right on us and it hides us. So that is a $30 background green screen that attaches to your chair. So very cool little product. Okay.
And let me share my experience because I have one of those huge
You got one? Okay.
chroma key monsters.
What's your experience with green screens?
And okay, even though, for instance, this kind of chroma keys, those with the structure and the fabric thing, they are really, most of them are really affordable. I remember that I spent around $120 buying 3 soft boxes, the structure, and 3 backdrops, 1 white, black, and green. The problem is, and sometimes I like to use it, sometimes I don't want to use it. So it's a problem storing this, okay? Because or you move it or you just put them down, and this will take you lots of times, okay? And the other thing, and besides the lights and the camera, it's important the computer you have to make the processing of the keying, okay? Because if you have an old computer, maybe chroma key it's not the best option for you as well, okay? Because it doesn't have processing resources to make the job properly. So have that in mind as well when you're thinking about chroma key.
Excellent point there. Yeah, because that is definitely something you have to consider if you're going to try to do any sort of chroma keying out. You have to have the computer that can handle that. And a lot of people, they don't end up getting like the right kind of computer to be able to do that. So you have to remember, just because you want to remove the background from your webcam, you don't just spend $60 on that webcam. You got to spend $60 on the webcam. You got to get the right kind of green screen. You got to get the right kind of lights to be able to then remove that background. It's a lot of work if you think about it. So for most people, what they end up doing is they end up going with a physical background or even just a roll-up background. And
also, don't use green outfit.
Right, exactly. Or in my case, I'm wearing blue. I wouldn't go and put a blue background behind me. So
yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. By the way, we've got some really MD Makan Ali here saying, hi, and he just gave us a follow.
Hello.
So thank you very much for the follow. Really appreciate that. Okay, so Marco, let's talk about just a couple other little items here that people need to get when they're using a webcam. Another follower, Chelsea. Thanks for the follow.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Okay, so Marco, let's just talk quickly about getting something like an A10 Mini. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So I want to just talk about this and one other item real quick. So for those of you who want to do camera switching, okay. So you can get a webcam. You can get 2 webcams. For example, you can plug them into your computer. And then if you're for example, in StreamYard, it comes up as an option to switch between the cameras. I can bring them both in. But one thing you have to remember, if you then want like you want to get into the fancy switchers like the Blackmagic 810 Mini Pro that we're about to bring up, this does not work with these webcams. We get the question all the time because here's the thing. The 810 Mini Pro uses, and I don't know if there's a way to look at the back. There we go. Yeah, there's the back of it. So it has, let's see, there's a USB-C port on this, but it doesn't let you connect a USB-C webcam or USB-C cable from one end of the webcam to the 810 Mini. It's not designed for that. It's actually designed to hook a hard drive into it. It has HDMI inputs. For those of you who say, well, okay, I'm going to now get an HDMI cable and go USB-C to HDMI or USB-A to HDMI, that also doesn't work. If you try to do that conversion, it's not going to work. It's not going to be able to convert that signal from one end to the other. You have to have an HDMI capable camera, and there aren't any webcams that are HDMI capable that I'm aware of. How about you, Marco?
Me neither.
Yeah. So this is a really good camera switcher, but it's not going to work with the webcams. So you do have to keep this in mind. There's this, and then there's other versions of the 810 Mini. Like you could go buy the one that's, this one's $300. You could buy the $800 one. It doesn't matter. If you buy the 810 Mini, can we go back to what's this look like on the front, Marco? So the 810 Mini, you can go buy any of these models. You can go buy the cheap one. You can buy the most expensive one. It doesn't matter. These will not work with a webcam.
Absolutely.
The same thing holds true if you're looking to also get the Feel World Live Pro, which we also have in the carousel. Again, it's a camera switcher, but it only works with HDMI signals. So just keep that in mind as well. I'm going to bring that one up as well, because again, these are great for increasing your live stream production, helping them look more professional, create some transitions between scenes, but you have to have the right kind of camera to use with this. And Marco, I don't know if you can zoom in on this, on that Feel World. Yeah. So it's got HDMI, if you go back to that, it's got, and this is a good diagram, by the way, it's got HDMI connection. So you could connect a camera, a PC, another camera, a laptop, an iPad, a phone, and then you have one output to a monitor. However, there's no connection to be able to hook a webcam in. Your camera needs to be separate. So your camera would be, for example, strictly, if you're using a webcam, it just plugs into your computer. That's all you need. And then this would be a way to have, if you had other HDMI cameras, you could use a webcam as your main camera and then have, the different HDMI cameras to switch between different ones if they're HDMI capable cameras. But for the sake of this episode, best webcams for live streaming, you can't get a switcher and do any sort of switching to another camera. Okay.
Yes, the best option is use OBS, build the scenes there, and then change them on Stream Deck, for instance.
Excellent point. Yeah, excellent point, Marco. And let me see if there's anything else we talked about here. So we covered. You know what? Let's do one more thing. Let's pull up one more product. Let's pull up the Oxendure webcam arm. And so what we want to do real quick is we want to bring up the Oxendure webcam arm. And so this is something you want to consider if you're going to get a webcam for your live streams. Chances are they can sit right on top of your laptop screen. That's great, by the way, if you want, if you're always going to be in front of the computer. But if you want something where you can move these things out of the way, for example, or maybe get a different angle, I would consider checking out something like this. This is the Oxendure webcam stand. And what's great about this one is it literally sits on your desk. You put your webcam on top of it. As I told you earlier, you can remove the webcam from the included attachment and you can put it on different arms. So in this case, you could put it on an arm and you could swivel it out at, say you want to move it to different places, you can swivel it around, move it around. If you want to raise the height, for example, get a different camera angle, also very useful for that as well. And it works with, as you can see, it's kind of designed for mostly Logitech webcams, but they're all virtually the same. You got the Logitech C925, the 922, the 930, You've got the C920 in there as well. You've got GoPros that it works with, Arlo cams, the Logitech Brio, for example, the Stream Cam will work with it as well, even DSLRs. But that is a good option as well if you need to like get more height and get the camera like right there in front of you so you can look right into the webcam. So again, that's $27. Great little product to have to improve your webcam. Again, to get it at the right height and to get it in front of you. For example, so you can peer into your audience's eyes. Because remember, you can't see your audience, but you just need to be able to look directly into that webcam so that they can feel you with your live streams and your content and your message. Okay, Marco, is there anything else?
If your budget doesn't allow you to have more cameras, this could be a nice way to show different angles by hand. Okay, you need to, but this could be a nice option to your broadcast.
You actually could.
Yes.
No, excellent point. Yeah. So now let's just do this. Let's just do one last, quick. Let's just talk about this real quick. So in terms of getting the best webcams for live streaming, if you had to get any of these webcams, what would be like the least expensive and then the most expensive? I would say the most expensive one, but like which one would you buy right now and which one would you like splurge on?
Me, if I had to buy C920, I already have it, but
the C920. So Marco would get the Logitech C920. That's a great point. Okay. So the Logitech C920. Okay, great. Okay, so and why would you get the Logitech C920?
Well, because it means that I will have a camera with a good image quality. Okay. You can have some control over the camera with the software from Logitech.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Also, it lasts long. And this could be something that you should have in mind. For instance, in 1 year, you can think, okay, let me buy a DSLR, a mirrorless, or even a camcorder to be my main camera. Okay. You can use this main camera now, as a secondary camera. It's what I'm doing now. For instance, if I turn this camera, I'm using this. This is the C920.
Okay, nice. Okay.
So this could be a nice option instead of just getting rid of the old webcam.
Yeah,
you could include the webcam in your setup. That's what I did. Okay,
very cool. So I like that.
Having a camera which lasts so long, it's a guarantee that in the future you can have. If you buy another one, you can have a second camera to work in other angle, for instance.
Awesome. Okay, so now if you had to get one other, like if you were going to spend like splurge on a webcam, what would you get?
The OBS bot or OBSBot.
OBSBot, yeah. So Marco, you'd get the OBSBot. Let me see if I can find that. So you'd get the OBSBot, the PTZ webcam. That's $200. Excellent choice. Yep. And why would you get this one?
Well, because for instance, I like to do trainings, and even though, for instance, if you are recording a training to sell it online, this could be a nice option instead of going back and forth to change angles. Or for instance, you want to use a whiteboard to explain something like Ran Fiskin did this whiteboard Fridays. Okay, instead of moving around or having something to change the angles or zooming, you just do the signs to the camera and it will do that for you. So I think this could be a nice option to my needs.
Very good choice, actually. Very, very, very good choice. Okay, so you would get the C920 or you get the OBSBot PTZ camera. Great choice. So we're talking about $60 and we're talking about $200. Okay, so I would say this. If I had to pick my webcam out of this list, I would probably start with the C920 as well. Again, Logitech C920, very good. A lot of bang for your buck for $70. I think, again, like you have to remember this. You don't need 4K. So you could get 1080, for example, at the most. But most people are only going to stream. You got to remember your internet also has to support this. So 720, 1080, that's going to be what I'd be looking for. I get the C920 as my base model, webcam that I would work with. And then to your point, I'd repurpose that when I'm finished, or I want to get a new webcam, or when a new model comes out, or I want to upgrade to that mirrorless DSLR. The other one I think I would look at in terms of my budget, I would definitely skip on any of the ones that are like, $20, $30 webcams. I would actually look at, I think, the Anker PowerConf C300, $130. It's from Anker. They make really good products. So I would get that one, I think, just to be a little different. I do like that ObSpot one, but I think I would get the Anker one as well. Again, that saves me, some money as well. So I could actually get two cameras for the price of that one ObSpot if I want to. And they're both good. They're all going to do a good job, provided you provide the right amount of light for that webcam.
Absolutely.
So in terms of, picking the best webcams for your live streams, just want to kind of give you all just a real quick rundown. We covered a whole bunch of Logitech models, the C920, the 922, the 930, the StreamCam, the Brio, all very good webcams. You could even go up a level if you want to with the ObSpot. You can get the Anker PowerConf 300. Lots and lots and lots of option in terms of webcams. It doesn't really matter which webcam you get in that sense. They're all going to be, if you're just using a laptop webcam, they're going to be a huge improvement over that laptop. The key things you got to remember. So if you're going to be, using these, one thing I would mention is audio. So you're always going to want to run your audio separately. So you're going to typically want to have a mixer or something like that to run your audio. The cameras have microphones built in, but they're not great. So if your budget allows it, consider getting like a little audio mixer, like a Zoom PodTrack P8 or P4. In addition to that, you're going to want to have enough lighting as well for your live streams, because, So you're going to want to make sure you have that, because you need to have enough light for these webcams to help them shine. They need a little help, by the way. So lastly, again, you want to, like, if you're just improving your webcam on your laptop, you don't have to go all the way to that mirrorless DSLR. Yes, I'm using a mirrorless DSLR right now, but I've been using a Logitech for quite a while. So I've had a Logitech. I had a Brio, for example. I tested out the 920. I didn't have enough light. I thought I needed another webcam. It really came down to lighting. So remember, you're going to get that. And then also remember, if you're going to buy any of the Logitech ones, they have their own software as well that can be used to tweak the camera even further, to adjust the angle for the camera, to be able to adjust the quality that it's shooting or recording at, to be able to adjust the contrast, the white balance, and much more. But that's going to do it for essentially what is episode 81 of the Launch Your Live podcast and Amazon Live show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Marco for tuning in, talking webcams with me. Marco, thanks again.
Thank you.
I love chatting. We love gear and we love talking about it. So the key piece of advice I think we can encourage you to do is upgrade your camera on your laptop. You're going to notice a huge improvement over the built-in webcam when you go with an external webcam that typically will plug in via USB-A or USB-C. Just a couple of quick points here, by the way. For those of you, if you need help with your live streams, you're more than welcome to contact me at Launch Your Live on all the social channels. Also, for more information on this episode, all you got to do is go to launchyour.live/EP81. We'll see you all on a future episode, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.